everyone, Happy New Year. Today we are talking about choosing courage and embracing the first part of the I Choose Me journey. Today is the day. 2026 has officially started, and I'm excited to finally be choosing me. And if you haven't been here the past few weeks, the past few months, we have been talking about how we're going to show up and choose ourselves, and courage is exactly how 2026 is going to start, because it takes courage to live a beautiful life, to live a meaningful life, to live one with intention, with a desire, and the willingness to bring your dreams to life. So today we're talking about 3 ways to finally do it. How can we start off 2026 choosing ourselves? And if you haven't picked up I Choose Me, you can get it down below. It's never too late to choose yourself, and wherever you start, it is an important place because it brought you here. Because courage is what changes us from who we were into who we've always wanted to be, because it is a line that we draw and we finally say, I'm showing up for me regardless of who else believes in me, who else wants good things for me, or who doesn't. And if there's no one on the sidelines cheering you on, I want you to know that you're not alone. I'm here. I'm cheering you on. This is your year. We're deciding it right now. We're choosing to step in to this beautiful life that we're meant for, and courage is the first way to do it. So the theme for this month is stepping in to the unknown and challenging yourself to do something you haven't done before, which is showing up for yourself very regularly. And if you do have the journal, you will notice that there is a promise that you are going to fill out for yourself. I have not done this yet, but I intend to do so, because every time I sat down to do one of my journals for the month, it was a promise to myself that I was going to show up however many times necessary to complete it, so that I could get to a point and write myself a letter saying, you did it. It was a month that was a blank that you filled in the spaces for. So that is what we're doing. We are showing up and showing out exactly who we're going to be with this idea of courage. So you can color in the days by giving each freedom a different color, and then you write I choose me, and then you color it in, and you can color in the month and the word of the month, and every week has space so that you can put a little sticker, and you can put stickers on these. It is meant to become beautiful, because choosing yourself is a beautiful decision that you have to keep showing up for. And this was a very important thing that I've talked about before, that whatever life you choose, you are not choosing it once. You are choosing it every time you leave the house, every time you get up, every time you sit down to eat, every time you drink water, every time you argue with someone. You are choosing the life that you want, and you are reinforcing this decision with other decisions. So if you want to live a beautiful life, if you want to live a courageous life, these are done through every choice that you make every single day, which is why if you show up with intention, it already eliminates a lot of choices that you don't want. And that is what we are talking about in the Courage Month, is courageously sitting down and deciding what your goals are going to be. Looking at all the freedoms, looking at what it is that we want from this life, and we're going to do it through using beautiful stickers. I have new stickers that I haven't used yet. I have thousands of stickers already, but I thought that it would be very important for me to get new ones. Yeah. We will definitely talk about spending later on in this journey, but they're super cute. They aren't harming anyone, and I have these January stickers to reinforce every week. You can put another January down on the week, and every single day you are reinforcing this idea of choosing yourself. Every single one of these questions shouldn't take more than a few minutes to do, but I encourage you to take as much time as you possibly can for every single one of these. Take 1,000,000 hours. Take as many hours as you can, and promise yourself that you're going to show up every 5 days for 3 hours for you. And now that might be a monumental change for a lot of us, including me. though I do work from home and there is a lot of opportunity for me to show up for me, I still choose to do things that aren't necessarily for me or for my best interest, which is why this whole year is going to be based on this idea of continuing to show up for yourself, which is why we have to start off with courage, crossing that line, showing up. Those first few days is going to be difficult, but the more you do it, the more you stretch this decision and this habit. So I'm going to post down below the different media that I'm going to be engaging with over this next month. There is 2 books and 2 master classes, and one of them will be Tiny Habits and Atomic Habits. This is continuing what we started in December, where we are evaluating where we are starting from. And this is really important because how do you know where you're going if you don't know where you're starting from? You can put a destination into your GPS, but you either need to tell it where you are or your location so that it knows how to get you from A to B. And that is what we're continuing to do this month, is courageously look at the life that we've lived and to show up for ourselves. So I will be reading both of these books. I already read Atomic Habits earlier, a few weeks ago, so I'm going to really dive into Tiny Habits, and I even got the new Atomic Habits journal. I saw it at Target and I was like, oh my god, I have to have it. So I will be spending as much time as I can with all these books, and that is really what we need to do this month, is to show up for ourselves. And how do you do that? You take the time back wherever you've been spending it that hasn't been giving you as much value. And that's really what number 2 is about, is figuring out where you are going to spend your time and why. You've already spent your life the way that you have. Take the time to look back on it and see where you have gotten to and why. And then take the time to evaluate where it's going to go. Who's going to get your time? Why are they going to get it? And try to do this thing called a zero-based budget, is what I've heard of it called. But basically, that might not be what this is called. But basically what you're going to do is look at everything that gets your time right now and pretend that it has to buy back that time. It has to prove to you that it actually deserves to have 20 hours of your week, 15 hours of your week, 3 hours of your week, whatever it is that you do a lot of the time. Now it has to prove to you that this is actually worth where your time is going. Now there's going to be certain things that you're going to be like, yeah, I do still need to show up for work and do the laundry. And that's very true. But is it actually worth the amount of time it's getting? Are you actually only spending 40 hours of your time on work? Or are you spending 60 hours because you complain about it and you hate doing it, so you talk about it with your friends all the time? So are you actually spending more time than you think you are? So try to, over these weeks, figure out what it is that you're gonna do with your time. Who gets it and why? Do this little contest with yourself that every single thing now has to prove to you that it's worth it. That Amazon has to prove that it's worth you renewing your subscription, that Netflix does, that your friends do, that the habit that you've had for a long time, the habit of watching TV and going to sleep on the couch, that all of these are actually worth your time. And so this is why it's really important to evaluate where you are so you can figure out where you want to go and see how the things you're currently doing are working for you or not. And the other part of this is really just creating that color and that joy. I'm going to be using all these colored pencils. You can get so many different things. I recommend colored pencils because of just how thin the pages are, and it'll probably not smudge as much as a crayon or bleed through as a marker might, but do whatever you want. Have fun with it. Every day is going to get a little number sticker as well, just because I want to have fun. I want to have it as a beautiful ritual of showing up for me, of choosing me, which is why I wanted to create as pretty of a cover as I could, but still simple, and realizing that these are a lot of my own values, is figuring out what is beautiful for me, and you go in and you make it as pretty for yourself as you possibly can. And that is really the goal here, is to show up for ourselves and create the little habits that we want to. So figure out what habits you're gonna do. And I will do a follow-up video at the end of the month where I'm going to share some of the things that I've learned from these different habits. Now, I will not be able to explain every single thing, but I'm going to try and give you as many resources that I will be engaging with as possible so that you have the same opportunity and a path to walk on as much as possible, because everything that I've been searching for is like, well, how do I do this? How do I show up for me more? How do I engage with better content, with valuable lessons? And it really is about deciding what you value and following that and constantly going back to it. So if you want to read other books, if you want to share that you've already read these books and the things that you've taken away, let me know down below. But really spend some time this month seeing what it is that you want to do. And this is really just meant to be a path that you could follow and a companion to it, but the real work is still done by you, as it always has, and your life is built by you. So whether you fill out everything with beautiful handwriting or you rush through it, it will reflect how you view your own life, and your life is worth the time to spend on it, to make it beautiful, to make it wonderful, and to show up for yourself. Now, I may have shown you this before, but I am still doing a version of the journal a month, but it's now going to be a 30-day challenge. So there's far more intention in the use of the notebook. And this year, I've already done the January notebook, which I've never done this before. And I have written out the questions that I'm going to answer every single morning and evening for every single day, and really spend the time to reflect on it. And you might be thinking, but I don't have, what if like I would just wake up one day and I don't have the time to sit with these questions? I have thought about that as well, because I'm like, man, what if I just don't want to do it one day? I bet that I still have 30 seconds or a minute, and I want to write at least those numbers out, like write out 1, 2, 3, and just write thank you. And it is a thank you to me for still choosing to show up for me, even if it is in this a tiny moment where I'm still intentionally deciding like, no, like I'm still just going to sit here and write out thank you. I have the 15 seconds to write it out, but it is a thank you to me to say like, hey, even in the middle of this crazy day, I still sat down and I chose it. So I think that January is going to be the hardest of showing up every single day. I have gone into the practice of writing every day in different notebooks for different reasons. So I feel confident enough that I can keep up with it, but I will let you know how it goes at the end of the month. And at the end of the day, it is really just an important decision to show up and to say, you know what, I'm gonna do it. I'm going to choose myself over all of the conversations with people about things that I can change that aren't helping me. I'm going to choose me over those. And that is what I really want to focus on this month, is to say no to talking to people about things that I can't change. I can't change how people at work act or what the managers decide. So I'm going to choose to not spend half as much time as I've spent on it this past year, because that is basically what I talk about with all my coworkers and in some ways with my friends. And I really want to eliminate those conversations as much as possible, because it's not bringing me closer to who I want to be. In those moments, I am not showing up as an awesome, fun, life-loving person as I want to, because I'm complaining about things that I actually can't change. I am not a manager. I am not in charge. I do not run the company. And this is something that a lot of us are facing all the time, because work is the thing that we spend so much of our time doing, of showing up and being there, preparing to be there, driving to be there, spending weekends preparing, spending nights worrying and picking out our clothes. It's taking enough from you. And if there's anything that you can do this year, is to take the time back, take whatever time you can back, carve out a few hours in the week from that preparation or that anguish or that mulling over what people said or didn't say or what they thought or didn't think about your work, and just take it back for you. You'll start to free yourself from this idea that somebody else gets to dictate your complete life, because they are in some senses in charge of a lot of things in your life. They dictate the amount of money you make, they dictate the insurance, they dictate who you're spending your days with and working with. So why give them any more power than they need to? And this isn't to say that you're now going to be a bad employee. You're actually going to be better because you're going to show up more present when you need to be there and give your attention to the right things, because how many of us have complained about things instead of maybe just doing what we can? We've all been there. That's just the nature of working for so many hours. But if you can carve your time out back for you, that would be really amazing. Another big goal that I have this year is to focus on my health. I want to be more consistent with dancing and working out. I love ballet. I've loved it my entire life, and I do pay for a subscription to an amazing coaching of ballet, and I just don't utilize it. And it's really time for me to take control back there, and I want to be more intentional with my food and eat healthier and be more aware of where I'm consuming both food and then in other capacities as well, like media, and really showing up for myself first, what nourishes me, what I actually want to spend time thinking about and doing, and eliminate all these other conversations about people, about things that I cannot change and that actually at the end of the day are not really that interesting, talking about what other people said or didn't say, what they thought about you, what they were wearing. Those things aren't actually bringing you the joy that it may feel like it is, but it feels like that because you aren't actively seeking real joy in other places. And that's what I've really figured out is I really enjoy spending time with myself where I'm learning and growing and being around positive and fun people. And that's why I want to bring all these stickers into my life and all this learning and really enjoy life. And that's really the big theme for 2026 is having fun, being full of life, and being excited about the world in general, and being a present participant in it, and deciding that that thought that you're about to say out loud, you actually don't have to. And I've caught myself these past few days really sitting with that and being like, oh, I could bring up the conversation that I had from someone else, but it isn't actually adding to the conversation I'm in right now. So I chose not to, and the conversation continued. It didn't make or break that conversation, and it probably made it better because I was more focused on what they were saying and asking a question back instead of just bouncing to another thought. So really try to be as present as possible with the people that you're around and with the time that you have. You have to dedicate your time to certain things, but take your time back after. Don't give it any more than it needs to, and it will make 2026 so much better. And I already feel an incredible change undertaking, and I'm excited to share how this goes and how saying thank you to me, showing up for me, is going to change that relationship. You're gonna build that trust up with yourself, because that's the only place that it can really come from, is you trusting that your wings are going to help you fly through whatever situation occurs, and that it is your decisions that bring you there. So I hope that 2026 is starting off super amazing, that you are loving the new year energy, or wherever you are in this journey. I hope that you take some time today to choose you, to show up for the life you've always wanted and have always deserved to live. So whatever you do next, I hope you do it with the intention of living your most beautiful life, full of courage, full of joy, because you deserve it. All of you are capable of this. You just have to give yourself the space to do it and to choose you. So I hope you got something out of today's video. I hope you're off to an amazing start in 2026, and we will continue this conversation for quite a long time. And I'm excited to see how we grow and change and how things really start to take off for us. I hope you have an amazing week, and I'll see you very soon.